Okay, it's time for our NBA 2-week check-in. You're here with the degenerate, of course, Zach. Also, the professor himself, Chris. Go Astros right here on the screen. We're recording on a Wednesday night in the middle of Game 4 of the World Series. I'm rooting for you guys, of course, Chris. I'm probably the only guy in America not an Astros fan rooting for the Astros. For the record. And I don't care. I don't care. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Amazing. Zach, I'm surprised Zach doesn't have a bottle of champagne for the Daniel Snyder selling the team news.
Because
Yeah.
that's not a guarantee he sells the team.
This is
And
true.
it could take 2 to 3 years.
Well, it's the same guy. It's also the same guy that said that we're not going to change the name to Redskins, and now they're the Commanders. So
I feel like it's
two
just
names are down the road now.
I think all the owners have pressured him, and then after the whole thing where he was talking about, I'm going to expose this, that, and the other owners, I think Dave kind of pretty much said, like, look, you're going to sell it on your own, and we're going to find a reason to kick you out. So this is the more,
or that, or the criminal investigation now going on against him. That too. This came out an hour or two ago.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you know what, just sell a team before we have to make you do it. So,
well, here's also NBA basketball. We're 2 weeks into the season. 2 weeks, 1 day. We're recording on a Wednesday night. Obviously, the news right now, the big flashpoint of the league right now is the not really so surprising Steve Nash firing by the Brooklyn Nets yesterday, on Tuesday. 2-5 start to the year, and then they lose the same night also too. So now they're 2-6. I mean, obviously, we're not surprised what happened here, right?
Yeah, come on, KD. The one night you have to show up and get a win. You got your coach fired. You know the GM's coming next. Because clearly you got no size. So that's what he's going to start to talk about next, him and Kyrie. Well, if he only had a big guy. So KD got what he wanted, got rid of Steve Nash, and he couldn't even win that night.
So we started the season talking about, we make it a Christmas. Then about a week into the season, we moved up to Thanksgiving. And I think me and Chris had said, "What about Halloween, dude?" At this point, and we were literally like 12 hours off. By the way, Kevin Durant saying that he didn't know that he got fired. Bullshit. Shut the fuck up. I don't believe him at all.
It's one of those things where every loss that mounted up, it was like, okay, you're advancing 2 weeks of Steve Nash's like lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
It was where it's like, yeah, it's fucking. There's no shot.
I will say this much though. I do believe though that it was mutual. I think Nash was sick of this shit.
Well, yeah, he walks into a locker room where your two main stars really don't want you there.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, he wasn't that good, obviously, but the guy never had a fucking fair shot for the word go, man. 3 years in, like, you got COVID, then you have Kyrie missing games because of the mandate, KD injury to start. I mean, so the dude didn't have a fair shake, to be honest with you.
He had Harden last year too, and all that.
And Harden wanted to leave also too, mainly because of the other two guys, because of Kyrie.
Yeah.
But I think Kyrie's a problem.
Chris, Ernest, think about this. His best year coaching was his first year without both of those guys.
Yeah.
Kyrie went down early in the season, so it ended up being a bunch of trade-ins down the road, and he took them to the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And
Tony coach when it wasn't the stars trying to run the system.
That's also the year you had Tony from being to the East Conference Finals, and who knows what happens there at that point. Brooklyn gets Atlanta. I'll take Brooklyn that one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not really surprised at all. I guess the bigger story, I guess as this is the bigger story, but if not even bigger story, is the Ime Udoka angle now, where we are expected to hear the Nets hiring as the next coach within the next couple of days. I heard 48 hours. I heard after this road trip they're doing. Of course, Udoka, of course, was suspended by the Boston Celtics for improper conduct related to the team. We don't have to go all that again. We did that already a couple weeks ago on the show. I'm gonna say right now, I am not surprised at this. I even said this a month ago. It would not surprise me that the Celtics that he would be the next coach because of the fact that we all knew that Nash was on a small leash anyway, on a very short leash. So this is not a surprise at all to me. Your thoughts, guys?
I think the most surprising part is the fact that they said A, they wouldn't get in the way of him looking for other positions, which is like, then why even suspend him? Why not just fire him?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, maybe for contractual reasons,
Right.
I'm sure they could have found a way to justifiably fire him. So that was one thing. Two, if you're going to do it, you're just doing it to be able to get compensation back. And then they're not asking for draft compensation. So I'm like, well,
What are they asking for, you know?
I would assume just maybe cash at that point. Like, because if you're not asking for draft compensation, there's nothing else to it except cash. You know, this is a league where teams sell their second round pick straight up cash. So maybe they just want a couple $1 million here and there, but
You want something.
it's interesting to me. I mean, this was the one job opening. He came as an assistant from Brooklyn right before he went to Boston.
Right.
He has a relationship with Ben Simmons because he coached the year prior to that in Philadelphia. So I mean, it all lines up perfectly for him to go there. It has to be the fact that Boston still losing Will Hardy, their top assistant, and losing Ime, and still doing great to start the year. I think at that point they said we probably don't even need him at this point, but it's interesting to say the least.
Go ahead, Zach.
No, that was the thing. You're willing to let him go now for free, no compensation. And Chris, you might be right. If it's not money, maybe it's a trade exemption for something down the road. But sounds like they're just gonna let him go straight up for nothing.
I guess the question now is this: like, he has 1 year experience as head coach. Obviously, the 1 year last year took his team to the 2 games from the NBA championship, NBA Finals appearance, of course. On the surface, anyway, forget all the stuff that happened outside of basketball. It seems like, to me anyway, maybe you guys may think differently about this. This seems like the proper fit. This is the kind of guy that these guys, that the Kyrie Irvings and the Kevin Durant's, probably need. Ime Udoka seems very, very no nonsense. You know, taking a young team, getting them all together 1 year to the finals, and then now you're going to take a veteran team with a bunch of egos and divas. We'll say that, and have to get up in shape. I feel like this is the right move on the surface.
Wait. You want to give Kyrie Irving a no nonsense coach, and you think that's gonna go over?
Well, we'll have to find out, right? once it's official.
The fact that the majority of their core players, I mean, outside of Seth Curry, everyone's played every game. Like, the fact that they're this bad shows that there is not much room for improvement. Like, I don't know where it's going to come from. I don't know what heart he's going to extract from these dudes to get them to play any differently. But, and it's one thing if, like, you know, half their players were out and this, that, and the other. Like, they're just playing ass.
Dude, it's so bad. It's like Lakers East. Like, and there's no excuses, no injuries. I mean, obviously Simmons is out, but that's not really saying much. Simmons hasn't played well when he was there anyway.
Simmons played 6 games though out of the 8.
Yeah, hasn't played well.
Like,
has not played well.
He's putting up Draymond triple single numbers. Like,
they didn't trade for that though. Remember, they traded for an all NBA guy who could do 16 points off of just dunks and layups, and now he's scared to do those.
Defensive player of the year type caliber.
He's scared to play defense. Hasn't he fouled out like twice already?
I mean,
twice in 6 games.
But it'll be interesting. I mean, he hasn't played heinous, but it's.
Oh, Chris, the defensive rating, I think he was the worst, and then the next worst was KD.
Yeah, but young dudes
averaging 2 blocks a game, and he's the second worst defender in the league right now.
It's a young guy. Don't really are that concerned about. He'll get it together.
So, I guess I'll ask this then: does Udoka save this team? Does this team go to the playoffs with Udoka's head coach? That's a real question at this point. Now, given what the East looks like now.
But is making the play-in saving them?
Because no, playoffs. It's gonna be top 6 at least. It's gotta be top 6.
Oh, top 6? No, I don't. I think that's gone already.
I mean, nothing to do with 500. Like, come on, man.
Well, I mean, look at the Eastern Conference now. You have, of course, the Cleveland's on a roll. Boston, Milwaukee, Philadelphia. They figured things out a little bit now.
Ernest.
We'll get to that in a second.
But
Atlanta.
go
No,
ahead.
I'm asking you guys. You guys think it's
every like one injury away from falling apart. So I'm just like, it's not one of those things where I'm gonna say like, oh man, look. The Phillies were ass this year. They fired Joe Girardi and they're in the fucking World Series. So don't tell me something's impossible.
Because the plane is definitely. I mean, look, as bad as they are, I accept it with the plane because I think when it's all said and done, even with all the talks you have here now, the Indianas and the sorry, Jack Orlando's and all those teams are going to fall back to the wayside as always. So we'll get that. But
fall back to the ways. Orlando's already they're already.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like Charlotte's and all those teams
We're supposed to be so that we can field a lineup of 6'10" and taller.
Yama, yes.
But no, the most important thing about the Nets, why I think they have no real shot other than a play-in. They play 3-on-5 on offense.
Yeah.
Right? They made a trade for Utah to get Royce O'Neal. He's not a scorer. He's afraid to contribute. Ben Simmons is afraid to contribute. So when you're on offense, it's Kyrie and KD, and you're praying. What is it, Joe Harris?
Yeah.
Shot. That's really what you're doing.
Joe Harris.
It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense now that you've actually seen them on the court. They have no size. They get beat down low. They can't rebound.
I feel like you don't need size in the NBA these days. Like,
I think it's a little overrated. I think size matters for certain matchups, for certain teams, and I don't think it matters.
If you can impose your will on a team, you'll make them go small as opposed to
exactly.
Big.
Like, not when you're playing 3-on-5 on offense, though.
I see a point. I can see a point. All right, let's get to the next topic here. Let's like I said, 2 weeks in, 2 weeks, 1 day in to the season. Let's start something here. What's been the big surprise so far? It could be teams, situations, narratives on that. What's been a surprise for Zach?
Out of the East, it's got to be Donovan Mitchell.
And
then out West, holy hell, the entire Western Conference has been flipped upside down. Right? The Spurs sold off their team. We're supposed to suck. They're 5-2.
And then kicked out one of their best young players.
Yeah. Utah burnt their freaking team to the ground and they're 6-1. So I mean
6-2, but yeah.
Oh, what did they lose last night or something?
No, they won the night before that, I think. But let me check. Keep talking. I'll check real quick.
So I mean, when you look at the surprises, the Western Conference completely inverted from what everyone expected to start the season.
Well, okay, so yeah, you're right.
Both of you guys love the Phoenix.
Well, I think here's the one thing about when you're looking at surprise. Okay, so look at the top of the conferences. What's the one thing that Milwaukee and Phoenix both have in common? 5 home games already. They're undefeated at home.
Okay.
So like you have to take that into consideration. You haven't really seen it played 1-2 home road games. So surprising to me, the Warriors, who have been relatively healthy, have all their main players. They're 0-4 on the road this year. They're one of the best road teams historically since Steve Kerr's been there. So like that's interesting to me. And you could just see Clay is deteriorating before our eyes. Like, I don't know if he's shooting like sub 30% from 3, like 13 points a game. Like, he's playing terrible. And his defense pretty much all but gone at this point. So it's just one of those things where it's like, what are you going to do when he's absorbing like $40+ million on your payroll? So that's an interesting one. The Heat, almost their entire core is played. Besides Tyler Hero, again, as I poked out last night, every main player has been there. Mm-hmm. They're playing about the same road and home splits so far, and they're playing heinous. They're a team with pretty much no roster turnover, and that team is not playing well.
And right now, as we speak, they're down by 7 against Sacramento at home.
So it's one of those things where it's like, Is Milwaukee interesting that they're undefeated without Chris Middleton? No, because they played all their games on at home this year, pretty much. So like when we see things like that, Memphis, I mean, a couple like Desmond Bane's been out for a couple games, Dylan Brooks been out. John Morant's playing out of this world. They're like what 4-3, like they're playing terrible. So those are teams that are like disappointing to me. Really, teams that their core players have played a majority of the games, and they played relatively, home and away about the same amount, and they're playing god awful. Like those are teams that are concerning me. Like Golden State, barely any roster turnover. They just got thinner, but they didn't really lose any of their key players.
I know exactly why. That's what to me they're the most disappointing team so far this season. Fuck the Lakers. I expected them to suck. You guys didn't, but look, this all stems from Draymond Green's punch, and that the team's not going to be right until.
You think that's still hanging around? You think that's still an issue?
Oh, that, no matter what, because then they paid Poole, so you let Draymond punch the guy, and then you took essentially Draymond's money that he was dreaming about that had no chance of getting, and he gave it all to Poole. And then they redid Wiggins. They gave Wiggins an extension. So behind the scenes, Draymond's not happy. He's probably being a bitch right now, throwing temper tantrums, making everybody uneasy in that locker room.
I'll be honest with you. My surprise here. I mean, the Suns. I'm surprised to me how good they've been. Like I thought. Look, I didn't say they wouldn't be a playoff team, maybe a play-in team, whatever. I thought it'd be a little bit of a drawback, but they look like the same team they've looked the last couple of years in the regular season.
Devin Booker's making a move to like top 5 in the league with the
probably. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised.
He could replace one of your guys right now.
Who Kawhi? That guy, number 5?
Yeah, the guy back at the doctor's office.
Oh, God.
Oh, wait, that went viral for the record, so you know. Anyway, but no, Phoenix is one of the surprises for me, number 1. Portland, especially since losing Damian Lillard a week ago, is still winning games, which is really good to see. Of course, the Jazz, what they're doing is incredible. I'm stunned. And the Spurs.
I mean, Jazz and Spurs are a lock to be like the shit that like for them to be 6-2 and 5-2 is like unbelievable. You're telling me Spurs get rid of their lotto pick from the year prior because he's showing his dick to like fucking female reporters, and then they're just gonna keep winning? Like that's insane.
Yeah. Right. What about your disappointments, guys? Chris, go first. Biggest disappointment.
I mean, you look at veteran heavy teams. So Lakers, Brooklyn, right off bat. I mean, Anthony Davis is shooting. Besides, like the whole team's shooting just ass from 3, but Anthony Davis is still over 50% from the field, 24 and 11 with over 2 steals and 2 blocks a game, and they're just playing off. Like Kendrick Nunn can't shoot. You know what's crazy? Russell Westbrook shooting 34%. Dude, Pat Bev playing the same amount of minutes, shooting sub 30% from the field. Like,
yeah, but that's not as surprising though, because he's not really an offensive player.
Yeah, but when you're not the focal point of an offense and you're shooting like 4 shots a game, you'd expect him to at least make a little
2,
sub 30.
At least 2 shots.
But
right.
Come on, like I get Russell Westbrook's always gonna get more. He's chucking up 13 shots a game compared to like Pat Bev's 4 or 5, but you got to make more than 30% when you're not getting covered at all. Like you got to make more than 30% of your fucking shots. So like that team, and they've been relatively healthy. Like dudes that didn't play last year. I mean, like JTA, who's like one of their free agent signings, he's been in and out of the lineup, but man, they are playing awful. Like, and there's just no hope in sight for them. So, I mean, LeBron, you see the deterioration. Like,
yeah, you see it.
Yeah,
still top 10 guy, but you see the determination.
He's leading the league in turnovers. Like
Still average 25 points a game though.
I mean, he's averaging like 25.8.
Those are junk points, and you
8
know
rebounds,
it, Ernest.
7
Well, we're not
assists.
going to sit and say,
But
I mean, obviously, it's not impact the points, but he's still averaging 25 points. Zach, what about your most disappointing
My
thing
most
about the team?
disappointing is Golden State.
Your Warriors now, yeah.
I'm telling you, the whole Draymond thing, and y'all laughed. You have to trade him. I don't know. Maybe you're dumb enough, and maybe your owner has enough money that you trade him down to LA for Russell Westbrook and a couple of those draft picks.
Yeah.
And you just buy out Russell Westbrook.
oh my god.
What are the
You're
odds he does
telling
get
me
traded
that
though?
LA wouldn't like to have some size down there? Anthony Davis would like to not play center all the time.
I will never speak on trade talks ever again after I said, who the fuck would ever trade for Gobert and his $40 million contract? And they got
Hold my beer.
a fucking Herschel Walker fucking return for him. So,
Yeah.
I will never speak of anyone being untradeable anymore because motherfucker, anyone is tradable at this point. Like, if you absorb 40 million for a one-way fucking player, like, and give away
Just
everything on.
drafted that guy. They literally drafted Kessler in the first round to do exactly what Gobert does. And they trade him away. And what's he doing? Doing it for Utah.
But we've always known Minnesota was a stupid team. We've always known that, and it's come to pass. Which is actually my most disappointing team also is the Wolves. I mean, they're 4-4. I mean, they're not playing horrible, but it's you have Anthony Edwards and Cat taking shots at each other in the media. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, Anthony Edwards has upped all his numbers across the board. So, I mean,
Towns look bad in games.
How long before this duo breaks up?
I think D'Angelo Russell is a dude that's just still underperforming. He's one of those dudes that, like, Cat played with him on their fucking AAU team.
Mm-hmm.
One who got him to trade for him and sign him to that big money. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, man,
Nobody wants them.
Yeah.
There's just so many disappointing players right now where it's like, you just got to trade disappointing players and see if it changes their careers around,
You know what's clear too? Also, the parity right now is like the NFL. It's very much the NBA.
But you got to remember these memes are going to come back. Like I said, every team's if 3 weeks from now Utah, San Antonio are still even 500, I will be fucking floored. Like,
right.
That will be
on
Go ahead,
that
Zach.
regard, Orlando is clearly running away from the first pick in the draft. I'm so proud of that organization. If you wanted to suck terribly, just study Orlando for the last 5 years.
Shout out to Bull finally getting some minutes because he's a stud. So
yeah. All right, let's get the pan meter. I actually add a couple, a team of two on here, on the original list here. Actually, one team on the list. Panic meter 1 being the least panic, 10 being the most panic. I got 6 teams I want to talk about. My Miami Heat, who was down by 4 with six minutes to go in the game against Sacramento at home. Panic meter for the Heat right now. As right now they're 3-5.
2.
Could be 4-5 or 3-6 by the end of the night.
I'd put it at a 2.
Okay, why?
No matter what, you're making the play in. You're probably still gonna fight for the 6th seed in the end because Brooklyn's not gonna jump you. Everybody else that's sorry is trying to lose games to win the lottery draft. Let's be honest. So you're surprised out of the top 6 is maybe Toronto, and you could easily see Miami going into the top 6 and Toronto slipping back.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. I'm way higher. I'm like 7 or 8 at this point.
What?
You're keeping the roster intact. You don't have much flexibility. It's one of those things. Okay, well, since you have so many disappointing players, maybe you move Kyle Lowry for like toughness and veteran leadership to
Minnesota. No one's
Minnesota.
taking that contract. Sorry, not till next year anyway.
Like, maybe that's the move. Like, that team, that roster is literally exactly the same from last year. Everyone's played every single game, and this is what you're putting out. Maybe Jimmy should have left the long dreads. Why cut him off? Like, you need to change something up. Like, I don't know, man. Like, they're in trouble.
You really see them missing even the play-in?
I'm higher on that. They're a team that you would expect. Their aspiration. Jimmy just talked about it. It's championship or bust. Like, they're not. This is not a team. This is a team where the window is about to close. It's the last year in that window for them. Like, I don't see that window lasting much longer. Like, I don't see Jimmy Butler being a top 10 player outside of this year because at this
Yeah,
thing.
I agree.
So, like, their window is this small. So that's why the panic meter is high for me, because this is one of the last years for them. That's it. Hero
is
clearly take the next step,
Pause.
being able to be Batman. This is established already. He's a great young player, but he ain't Batman.
No, I agree. Is that what you're going to say?
When he gets his chances to play more minutes, his efficiency goes down instead of up. When you see transcendent, like, high-level superstar talent, when you give them more minutes, their numbers go up and their efficiency still stays that high. That's why you knew, like, SGA was going to be fantastic, because he got his chance to blow up in OKC, and every time he plays, he puts up monster numbers and his efficiency stays there. Tyler Hero's not that dude. He's like second, third option.
I'll split down the middle. So you had 7, Zach had 2, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 4.5. Because I am concerned. Because I did say before the year started that, while I don't see this scenario playing out, there's less space, there's less throwaway games now because the competition in the Eastern Conference is much higher. And so you can't just, okay, we got this game, no big deal, we can throw away this game because whatever. No, but there's less of that now. And you've seen it this year already as it is. Teams that are much better than we thought they're going to be. So I'm going to give 4.5, maybe close to 5. I do think they'll get into the playoffs to be a top 6 team overall, because I think they're probably one of the best coaching teams in the NBA, number one for starters. And I think things will organize at some point. There's too good a roster to at least not make a 6 seed in the East. But we'll see how it plays out. All right, now we have, as I said, the Golden State Warriors, as of this recording, is I think it's 3-5, I believe. What's your pen meeting? Yeah, 3-5. Yeah.
Oh, 3.
3-5. They lost 3 in a row. As you said earlier, they're 0-5, 0-4 on the road. Where does Zach go? Oh, there he is. Let me get Zach in real quick. All right, there we go. Sorry, Zach. The Warriors 3-5. Pennant meter for you, Chris.
You better not go low after how you talked about fucking Miami. You better not go low with the number.
Oh, man. I'm going to go 5.
Wow, that's pretty high.
That is insanely low. Are you shitting me?
Oh, you're concerned, Zach?
Oh, I'm absolutely concerned.
I'm not concerned because James Wiseman at least have played every single game this season.
Look at who they have lost to already.
Lost to Miami last night.
Kevon Looney's been killing it.
They lost to the Hornets. They lost to was it the Kings?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've lost the teams they should not be losing to.
We lost to the Kings too. We might lose tonight also too. On top of that,
the only thing is 2 out of their top 3 highest paid players on the team are playing meh, and they're older guys. Like, Clay's is so coming off of so many debilitating injuries, and you would think because he plays below the rim that might not affect him, but for him shooting as bad as he is very.
He's shooting 40% from 3.
Who?
Steph?
No, I'm saying Clay.
Oh, Clay, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I didn't expect Clay to be good.
40 clip, like, Steph's always gonna be amazing. But when his 2 running mates, like Draymond and Clay, are playing pretty bad, and I don't know if, like, Steve Kerr's what's going on, but with the league right now, it's trending towards every starter is playing insane minutes.
Mm-hmm.
and Jordan Poole, who's your youngest player, is playing like 29 minutes a game. Like, you would think maybe he would be getting more play to infuse that talent in there, and like Wiseman and Kuminga will be getting more play to at least to alleviate the pressure off of his older, underperforming players, but that's not the case.
Right.
But that's the weird thing. But I'll keep it at 5 because Steve Kerr knows what he's doing. He knows his roster. So, and
Right.
maybe Clay turns it back around. He starts shooting the lights out again.
So you went 5, right?
Yeah.
And Zach went what?
8.
I'm gonna go 3. I think at the end of the day, look, I'm worried about my over/under prediction of them going over 51 on wins now, which I said was too low at the time. But obviously, that Vegas knows to talk about. But at the end of the day, they have the pieces there. They have the leadership there to figure things out. It's a long season. Now, see me in say like early mid December if they're still under 500, then we'll have a conversation.
I mean,
But
it's not
2 weeks in,
under 500. It's not them being not like, up there in the top 3 seats in the West.
right? No, right. Like I said, things will. There'll be some regressions to the mean at some point coming soon. A lot of teams. So
y'all are missing the boat on Golden State.
we'll have that. We'll earmark this situation going forward.
Them being 0-4 on the road is very concerning to me.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but again, also you're also the champs. Okay, you're the champs. Everybody's going to be every night too, especially. So I mean, I get it. I get it. All right, next one here. The Philadelphia 76ers, who actually they lost the game actually recently, but they're now 4-5. They had won 3 in a row prior to that, but they're now 4-5. Pat meeting for the Sixers, Zach.
It's sort of the same as Miami. I put it at a 3 for the simple fact that Embiid and Harden have struggled to play together, but Embiid missed a couple of games and they ticked off a couple of wins while he was out. Him and Maxey seem to play really well together, but I have almost no panic meter for them for the simple fact they will make at least the play in, and they're dominant enough with stars. To once they're in the play in, get into the playoffs.
So 0.
I put it at a 3.
A 3. Oh, okay. Chris?
Seeding matters in the end.
Okay.
Oh man, it's like a 6.
Ooh.
The thing is, your one free agent pickup, PJ Tucker, playing lights out, doing exactly what he needs to do, shooting lights out. But man, Harden. So when Harden first got there, you saw this thing where like they were feeding off each other. They were getting Embiid was eating so easily, and he was creating all this stuff for everybody. And now it's like he lost that little step, and he went from being an elite playmaker when he first got to Philly to a ball stopper who's dribbling more than anybody. Like, have you seen the numbers? He's dribbling more than like anybody by like almost double. So like he needs to. The fact that he's not opening the floor and getting easy buckets for everybody like he did when he first got there is concerning to me because his numbers look great. But his style of play is killing that team's vibe. And you see Maxey crushing, and it's like...
Yeah, why is Maxey crushing? Because Harden's passing him the ball on easy shots, easy layups.
They should be... It's concerning to me. Like, they're a team where their window is this small. Like, the only reason why it's that high for them is because they're in the same boat as Miami. They're a championship or bust. There's nothing else to it for most of these teams anymore. No one cares. Like, they want to see like slight progression. Seeing it. No, it's like championship or bust. So for the fact that they're coming out the gate this slow and their offense looks this stagnant, it's concerning to me. Like,
I got 3. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. They have too much stars. Now, if Embiid gets hurt, we got another problem.
Plus, Doc is just not a guy that I'm like gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, he's gonna solve it.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, now if we're talking about again, this is another team that has like the very least conference championship bust at the very least.
Their starters are playing hella fucking minutes right now. That's concerning.
Yeah. All right, next team here we have the Minnesota Timberwolves at his last minute. Pat meter for you, Chris.
They they have they had a significant enough roster shakeup for me to say that they need time to gel and figure things out. So it'll be like a 2 for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Zach, the 4-4 by the way for the record. 4-4.
I give that more of a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like when two of your stars are feuding, that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That makes it a little more difficult for your team to gel as a team.
I
I
don't know
don't
if it's
care if you're
feuding though.
professional or not. It makes it a whole lot harder to gel on the court.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And I'm actually more concerned than you are. I'm giving it 8.
Wow.
Are we sure they're mature enough to turn this thing around? Because the stuff that's going on right now between Cat and Edwards can literally break apart this team to the point where we're talking about like trade trade requests or trade rumors into the next offseason.
Off season these days, man.
Yeah,
They're gonna happen right mid season.
but that's what I'm saying. So right there. So I mean, I it's an 8 for me because they're not. See, with the Warriors, they're insulated with leadership enough to go through these things. I'm confident in Curry and those guys and Kerr. Minnesota's a dumb team. We established this back in May. They're dumb. They're stupid. Okay, and the players are young and not smart enough to. I don't have confidence in them to figure it out. So I give it an 8 here. Okay, here we go.
So Ernest, real quick to touch on that.
Uh-huh.
They couldn't make a trade during the middle of the season, even if they wanted to, because they gave both of their guys extensions. So you can't trade them away for a year.
Oh.
Then you traded for like Gobert, so you couldn't trade away Gobert either.
So they're stuck like Chuck.
Yeah, they would have to wait till the off season.
Yeah,
I think they're still trying to feel each other out, gel. So I'm not gonna.
This is definitely a team to look at in the next month or two. See where they're at in the standings. All right, here we go. The LA Clippers. Panic meter, Zachary.
This is my highest, an 8.5. One of your key guys, number 5 on the list of the top 25 for.
Who did that? Who did that?
He's played 2 games. How is that possible? Chris.
Wow.
I did not think he would be requiring this much maintenance this early season.
Coming off the bench, it's a struggle to get him to 20 minutes.
Oh, he's averaging 21 minutes a game. Come on. In the 2 games he's played.
So you're going to 8. Chris, where are you going on this one, the Clippers?
Oh, by the way, to harken back to Philly, another really concerning thing to me is like all the free agent, besides like PJ Tucker, like bringing in Montrezl Harrell and stuff like that. Those guys are playing awful, and they have established relationships with Doc Rivers, and he's not playing them at all. Really concerns me.
Oh, okay.
Doc Rivers' rotations are really concerning to me.
He may get fired if
now
not by January. He may get fired.
100%.
Yeah.
Now back to
Number
Clippers,
5.
like a.
Don't lie, Chris.
I'm gonna go to like a 2.
Wow.
Because most of their veteran players are actually playing good, and it's their younger players that were playing lights out last year that are regressing. Now it's like Dwight Powell. He's not playing very well, but he's young in his prime. I assume he's going to bounce back. Terrence Mann's actually killing it right now. But Reggie Jackson, who was just insane last year, is playing horrendous, and he's still in the prime of his career as well.
Yeah.
So to me, when I see that, John Wall coming in,
he's playing great.
He's playing great. PG, he missed a couple games already, but he's playing pretty good. Kawhi, in the limited time we've seen, he's still actually playing pretty. So their vets are playing efficient, good basketball, and it's their younger guys who were carrying them last year that you're starting to see them. I don't know if they're regressing back to what they should be, because like Reggie Jackson was like insane last year, and so was Norman Powell. So I think those guys will start bouncing back, and as the veterans start playing more games, they're just gonna be just fine. So that's why I'm not concerned with them at all.
My Clippers are 3 and 4. I'm going 10.
Oh my God.
I'm going 10.
At least you understand how the ranking. Maybe that's what Chris.
Oh my god.
One is not the highest; it's the lowest. Okay.
You guys are insane.
And obviously, my 10 is because of Kawhi. Because again, this is a championship of bust situation for the Clippers, also,
Is it
and
not,
it
Chris?
all and it all
100%.
and it all stems on Kawhi. I'm sorry, the fact that the Clippers are over defending him not playing is concerning to me. It means there's a serious problem here. Prove me wrong. I don't know. He's missing 2 more games this week. Look. I will love to be proven wrong that he's going to be okay in long term. I don't know that. If you ask me my opinion, I think there's a major problem here.
Did you hear what they were talking about on the Ringer?
What?
So their discussion isn't about like his whole ACL injury at all for why he's missing games. It has to go back to his quad injury with the Spurs and how they said that would be almost causing like arthritic pain.
Arthritis? Oh, wow.
Yeah, like it would always be there, and it would just get worse over time, possibly.
Wow. Well, there you go. There you go.
I think it would be the only thing that would send me to a 10 is like the team doctor said he's good, and there was like one of those things where like San Antonio's team doctor said he was fine, and he said he was not. If that happened to play out again, that's more of a trend than like one-time thing. Then it would send me up higher. But it is what it is. I just feel like their regular role players will start playing better because they are in the prime of their careers, and the guys who you should be concerned about are playing good. Like if John Wall came in and was like just straight trash, I'd be concerning to me because that was one of their bigger pickups.
Right.
But the fact that that's not a case, I have less to worry about because my veteran dudes that I would be concerned about are playing good.
Right. Finally, the other LA team. I know we tried to avoid it, but we have to talk about them a little bit. The Lakers. Zach, where's your meter at for the Lakers right now?
Well,
one and 6.
We're not gonna do a rating on like the
1-5. Sorry. Say it again.
We're not gonna do a rating on the Nets.
Well, we already discussed it earlier on the show. We established that they're not a play-in team either. Said they're done. We all said they're done already. So fuck them.
I said they're at best to play in.
Okay.
But the Lakers. What's my concern? This is what I expected. We went over the list of teams in the West, and we said automatically they were playing at best. And here they are struggling when Anthony Davis is probably playing the best stretch of 6 games of his life.
Oh my God.
And they can't win a fucking game.
He's all right.
So, come on. 2 steals, 2 blocks, 25 and 12. I mean, he's the only reason why LeBron has 1 win on the season.
So that I had him ahead of LeBron in my players rankings. By the way, told you guys.
You did.
He's gonna be he's gonna be Batman now. LeBron will be Robin.
Okay, so what number, Zach?
I put it at a 3. I didn't expect much.
Okay, Chris, where are you going with this one? 10.
This shit ain't working. Pat Bev signing's awful. Russ playing fucking awful. Darvin Ham doesn't think. I don't even know he knows what the fuck's going on. Like LeBron.
So you thought it was gonna work?
But it doesn't matter. The fact that nothing has changed, and they're taking a gajillion threes a game.
All right, heat this one.
Can't make us stop fucking shooting threes if you can't make them. Fuck.
Tell Heroes hit a 3-pointer. Tell Heroes hit a 3-pointer to win the game. I think. Wait, 1 second to go. 1 second. 2 seconds. Heat win.
Oh look, and now your panic meter is down to a 3.
Yeah. Well, Butler didn't play tonight, or at least in the second half. So, I'm with you. 10. I'm close to you, Chris. This one. I'm a 9.
Why are you such a high panic? Explain.
Because I feel like they need shooters. It's clear they need shooters. It's clear they need shooters.
Didn't you know that before the season started?
Yeah. Defensively, they've been great.
So you knew they had no shooters on the team. When you personally did the rankings of teams, you thought they were a play-in team at best. So like when you get to your expectations, you didn't expect them to do anything.
Right.
So how can you have a panic meter on a team that you didn't expect to do anything.
Well, you didn't. I thought it'd be at least a 6, 7, 8 seed.
It's still a marquee franchise
Yeah,
who's
I thought
always.
they could be a 10 seed.
Well, I have a 9. I want to see if the rusting of the bench continues to work. Let's see how that continues to work. Buys in. Let's see if they can acquire a shooter before that. Probably not, but we'll see. So a 9 for me for the Lakers. So anyway,
There's just no way for them to acquire. Like, there's no shooters on the market. Like,
yeah.
Bradley Beal.
I thought it was crazy that Miles
He could-
Turner, who's part of the trade rumors,
Mhm.
commented on the fact that he would love to go to LA and would
Oh,
love.
he was straight up on that too. You saw that?
That is so weird to me. Like,
Yeah.
that, I don't think that's the right move. Like, the
These,
optics look
these players are fucking
awful.
honest. These players are fucking honest, dude. I'm telling you. So,
And the fact that Ty Halliburton crushing right now, that dude is a
dude,
bona
he's
fide
fun to watch. So
star.
he is fun to watch, dude. Indiana's fun to watch. At least he is
He
anyway.
fell
in
to
Indiana.
like 8 in the drafts. My God. And Sacramento, I mean, Domantas Sabonis, great player, but
Mhm.
man, to give up on Halliburton that early, oh my
Yeah.
God, man.
He's just with Westbrook. Anyway, guys, thanks for going to pod as always. Chris, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Zach, we'll do with you in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, man. Thank you.